anxious and attentive will be more ideal for a family, where however there is the desire on the part of adults to devote the necessary time to the growth, education, release and later on to training the new canine friend. The best thing would be to make the puppy's arrival coincide with one of your holidays or when you have extra spare time. A dog is an animal of fixed habits, and every change to its environment and its daily routine is a cause of stress for it. The puppy, besides being small and inexperienced, will until now have psychologically relied on the security provided by its known environment and by the pack of siblings. The move to the new environment and the separation from its pack will be a reason for confusion and insecurity. If it arrives home with everything already in place, definite and organized, it will allow the puppy to settle into the new environment in the most gentle and most serene manner possible. You should also avoid taking it out immediately for walks that will cause it more stress than pleasure. By avoiding this, you will also avoid immediate contact with other people and unknown dogs. Meetings which will be absolutely necessary after a few days, but decidedly premature at this delicate moment, and that would be the cause of additional confusion now that the dog must focus on you as its new pack. The most common error, apart from that of immediately running to the vet or taking it for walks around the block or the city, is to over-cuddle it, and the tendency to overprotect it and make too much fuss upon the puppy's arrival home. Some tenderness is surely a good idea, but be careful not to exaggerate. In addition, one tends, when putting it on the ground, to leave too much space at its disposal. Letting it move all over the house or the garden is not okay. It will certainly tend to patrol the territory, as it is unknown, but territory that is too big will be a cause of stress. In reality, a space the size of a room is more than sufficient to initiate our puppy to a new life, to new rules and the need for new toilet training and social education. The main rule when talking about correct growth in a puppy is that which says, when your hands, eyes, attentions and intentions are not on your puppy, it should be confined to its kennel. Let us make sure we understand this concept well. In nature, puppies are not free to run around far and wide over the entire territory of the pack. Their lives and freedom are managed by the adults, who decide when it is time to go out and when it is time for meals, rest and play. The meal times, for example, are when the adult dogs return from work, hunting. Playtime is when the adults have available leisure time, or have time to play or to oversee the puppy's play. But when the adults leave for the hunt, the older dogs or some subordinates, authorized to oversee them, stay in the vicinity of the den and the puppies are confined to the same. It doesn't matter whether they like it or not, it is for their own good, and they accept it as such. Naturally, it is accepted by the little ones that appreciate the sense of security that the den offers them. By keeping this natural image in mind, we're able to do much for our puppy's growth, learning to assess its needs in a less human way, to bring it up to the best of its potential, and, it might seem strange, in the simplest way for us. Therefore, you should decide on an initial confined place like a room, the kitchen for example, or a garden enclosure, where you will put its den, the varikennel. The varikennel or transporter is the cage that is used for transporting dogs and also during air travel. Getting your puppy used to the varikennel will be easy, useful and natural. It will be very difficult and at times impossible to do it without causing profound stress when the dog is adult. The varikennel will allow you to manage your puppy's freedom and to begin the home and toilet training correctly. If it comes up against an obstacle while running about, for example a sweeping brush, and knocks it over, thus frightening the puppy, do not run and pick the puppy up to protect it, since in reality what you will achieve is to confirm the need to get frightened and escape. The correct attitude in these situations is to react calmly and serenely, with indifference. If possible, leave the object on the floor. You can pick it up at the first opportunity, but since it will happen often, by leaving it on the floor, the puppy will treat it as a game. So get up, and as if nothing had happened, put the object back and attract the puppy's attention to one of the toys that you've prepared for it. Your indifference to the occurrence will mean that the dog, having assessed your reaction, thinks, "Ah, it's had no effect on the boss. Obviously there's nothing to worry about," and it will not be frightened the next time round. Together with the cage, you will already have prepared, as we said, some toys to be left down for the dog in its territory. In addition, you will have bought 2 bowls, one for water and one for food, a soft and light collar of fixed type, not those that slip off, and a light lead made of fabric or leather, but not too wide, that would make it heavy. Moreover, it would be a good idea to buy, in addition to the rubber toys left at its disposal, a soft sausage toy for puppies to attach to a length of cord and 2 small balls with string. These will not be left lying around, but their use will be managed by you and used when you play with your puppy directly, to then be put away by you. The lead. Like the cage, the lead is one of the basic tools of a dog's life. If well managed, the lead will not be a problem for you or your dog, but will instead be the link between both of you. It is for your safety, as well as that of your dog and of others, but also serves to maintain constant communication between you and your dog. The first effect of the collar and lead can be one of annoyance for the puppy. This is why it is better to associate it with something positive and distracting. For example, you can put it on your dog at meal times. The collar will then be left on. Let the lead drag along the ground for a while, maybe while you play with the puppy, without however letting it bite the lead. If necessary, distract it by throwing it a small ball. During the first short walks, do not be severe if the puppy tugs on the lead at times. As soon as it is accustomed to the lead, you will be able to correct it. Instead, in the opposite case of a puppy that refuses to budge and stays behind, you should adopt a cold and decisive tone. Continue walking slowly on ahead, without stopping and without looking behind, and above all, without turning back. And as soon as the puppy reaches your leg in leaps and bounds, stop and give it lots of praise. You should know that there is an unofficial but international rule that dogs are walked on your left. It is therefore best to accustom it straight away to the correct side, rewarding it and praising it each time it is solely on your left side. Naturally, for now, you will be the one to look for the correct position. The game that educates. Dogs love to fight, chase and bite. The soft sausage toy tied up to a long piece of twine will be useful in stimulating its predatory instinct and in letting your dog bite it and thus satisfy its natural instinct. Move the soft sausage toy in front of your dog as if it were a prey and make it miss repeatedly and then let it take it. Praise it, make it struggle for it by pulling the cord slightly and then let it win and take it for an instant. Catch your dog unawares and get it back and off again in pursuit of the prey. Ideally, 2 people are best for this game. One who holds the puppy on its lead, rewarding and stroking it, while the other manages the prey. Be careful during the teething stage. Tugging sharply may cause your dog pain. The 2 small balls with the twine are used to teach the dog to retrieve and return. For now, the puppy is very small, but you can start to familiarize it with this game. Socialization. After the first week of your puppy's arrival home, the moment to socialize it has arrived. The Rottweiler is a watchdog and guard dog, and this is why it tends to become over-distrustful and overprotective if it is not socialized abundantly. This is an absolute necessity for the owner of a Rottweiler, as is the absolute need to check its dominance, as we will see later on. For now, avoid laziness and get out and about in city centres and public parks. However, a word of caution. Your dog should always be on its lead, and if you decide to let it run around with other dogs in some enclosed parks, do not allow other adult dogs to treat it roughly. Disregard what other owners might say. There are rumours and grossly wrong beliefs that can ruin a young puppy's delicate psychology. If you really want to find it a playmate, look for a dog of more or less the same age, of opposite sex, and ideally belonging to a similar group. If in doubt, do not let them play. A close-up sniff will be a sufficient sign of socialization, where there is no threat or clear dominance, and where there is an attitude of invitation to play. A final piece of advice. Avoid talking to your dog at length. Avoid those importunate monologues in which you attempt to explain the how and why of things. The dog is not a child and will never go through the period of always asking why. Indeed, it has absolutely no interest in knowing why and is unable to understand a conversation. Use few sounds with your dog, always the same ones, and instead learn to hold back words and modulations that are too diversified and too high in tone. Excessive use of words will have the opposite effect, that your voice and words lose importance and meaning. Basic education. For correct basic education, you need to think